ശരിക്കും നല്ല അടിപൊളി സെഷനായിരുന്നു. കാരണം ഇനിയിപ്പം ക്ലാസ് എടുത്തതാണെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിലും ആളൊരു കാര്യങ്ങൾ പറഞ്ഞതാണെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിലും വളരെ ക്ലിയർ ആയിട്ട് സിമ്പിളായിട്ട് എന്ന് എല്ലാവർക്കും മനസ്സിലാവുന്ന രീതിയിൽ അത് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു.
Hello, dear participants. Myself, Nazir Kunnumal, Overseas Executive Director, IAGC. I would like to introduce today's special guest, Ms. Erem Nasir, who is a clinical psychologist, therapist, and a certified relationship counselor. She is presently pursuing her doctorate in clinical psychology at the University of Birmingham, United Kingdom. She is currently employed NHS as an assistant clinical psychologist. She has over 7 years of experience in counseling and psychotherapy. She is also associated with various online counseling platforms like AMCC, Advanced Mobile Counseling Center, and provides remote counseling sessions. She has a passion to work for the empowerment of underprivileged community and runs a charity for the same. She aspires to enlighten the masses about the stigma associated with mental health, especially in the South Asian community. As part of the World Suicide Prevention Day, which is on September 10th, we would like to bring awareness to this topic, which also demand a psychological first aid approach from our side. Judging, shaming, or blaming, or even guilt tripping is not the way to help such suffering people. Then what should we do? Let us learn from the expert. I welcome Ms. Erem Nasir. Let's give her our unwavering attention. Thank you.
Good evening to everybody, and really honored to be here. Happy to see you all. So thank you for that introduction, and I'm really honored to be a part and discuss all of this with you all today. And this is a very important topic that I'm going to discuss, and this topic is really, really close to my heart because I have known a couple of people who are really, really suffering, and they're really in my close circles, and they have attempted suicide. As you know, 10th of September is the Awareness Day, and I'm going to take you all through this. So let's begin. So why did I choose the name as You Matter? Because we all actually feel at times with our situations, lives, people, they just make us feel that we just feel inadequate. If you're a housewife, there must be some people telling you that you're not doing enough. If you're a student, your family or your friends may be just telling you you're not enough. You need to study more, you need to work hard. Or if you're a woman, you've been told you're not enough based on the way you look, you dress, you eat, you study, anything and everything under the sky. And that just makes us feel that, is it good? Am I good enough? Or maybe do I really matter? So that's what I want to tell you, that you matter irrespective of anything. Your life is invaluable. When I say invaluable, and I actually wanted to use the word invaluable instead of valuable, because your worth cannot be measured in any way, and neither your struggles, your worth as an individual, nothing can be measured at all. So today we are going to discuss about why you matter, and what is suicide, what are suicidal ideations, how do you need to cope up with that situations if you are yourself going through it, or if there's anybody else you see around you, and how do you develop more kind of sensitivity towards people, and how do you deal with that situation? Everyone with me at this point? So, whenever I take any kind of webinars or sessions, be it in person and online, so now I can't see you all. So, I would request everybody here to please, please, please actively participate. You could use your mic, you could raise your hands, and anytime if I say something and if you all don't understand, feel free to just raise your hand, drop in the comments. So, that just makes me feel that you are with me. If there's anything that you don't understand that you want to ask me, please raise your hands, drop comments, okay? Because I don't like to talk to people who are not actually responding. I like a two-way communication here, okay? So let's begin Now, we all know what suicide is. So, it is the deliberate act of taking one's life, or you could say the deliberate act of killing yourself. And this usually happens. Nobody actually commits suicide out of extreme happiness or extreme gratefulness. No, you can't. People who commit suicide are when they're completely hopeless, they have no hope whatsoever, they are unable to see the light at the end of the tunnel. We usually use this word that you need to see the light that is end of the tunnel, but they're not able to see that as much as they try to, and they have extreme grief, distress, really, really, really low self-esteem. That's why you matter. They don't think that they matter. They don't think that their presence in this world actually matters to their friends, family, or anybody. This is the base of the thought, and we have offered, like, I have been honored to be a part of a project wherein we were working through a crisis intervention calls, and the research proves that one thing that actually prevented over 63% of suicide is that having somebody to talk to. Every person, or I would say around 76% of people who roughly who have attempted suicide have stopped it, or maybe have actually tried to contact at least one individual before committing the act. So let us see, let us always make sure that you make good use of that one thing. Le- I think most of y'all here are mental health professionals, or even if you're just an individual, this is very important to identify. So, as it says, if you see the statistics, suicide is usually really high among people from 15 to 29, or you could say 15 to 35, roughly. In India, around 140,000 approximately people died by suicide in 2021, whereas in the UK, it was around 5,200. Now the numbers are huge. We have this, people have this very strong phenomenon wherein they say that Europe is depressive because of the climate and the things around you. But India, being a country with so much of diverse culture, and that kind of family that we have, that kind of attachment that we have, that we are really connected to our friends and family, still we have so much of suicide in India. And why is that? And this is a question I would like to ask you all before I answer that question. And maybe at the end of the session, we are going to discuss it. Why do you think that people in India commit more suicide, or there's higher suicide rate in India than in other countries? And why is India known as the most depressive country in the world? So, why does suicide happen? It could be through mental health problems. You all know anxiety, depression, PTSD. Somebody is going through really traumatic and big incidents in their life. Could be financial losses. Could be some kind of trauma. Could be some kind of bullying. Could be harassment. And there's one more very important thing, that the pressure that you have. It could be peer pressure, societal pressure, family pressure, extremely high expectations. And this is very true in terms of students, and especially in the South Asian community, when you see that we have really high expectations of if you are a daughter, you're supposed to be x kind of daughter. If you are a student, you're supposed to get x number of grades. If you're this, you're expected. If you're a daughter-in-law, you have to be like in this way, that way. So we have a lot of expectations, and people actually succumb to this form of expectations. So what can you do? What are the risks? How can you identify? And these are just general things, that you would find. But the most important thing that you see, if you want to identify somebody close to you who is suicidal, or who you feel is showing some different signs, the first thing you need to look at is change. And when I say, it could be change in anything, it could be like the way they're talking, the way they're sleeping. Maybe they're sleeping a lot, maybe they are not sleeping at all. You see them online 24 by 7, and they are morning rushing back to work. You have to keep a close eye. or at least to the people who are close to you, like, maybe your friends, family, you see that they are either doing a lot of activities or they are actually withdrawing from activities. And then you must be telling me that why am I saying lot? Is because a friend, assuming like you know a friend since 10 years, and you know her personality to be like she's a bit lazy, like she doesn't like to do things, and suddenly you feel that, oh, this person is like, she's just too active. She's like doing this, going to the gym, shopping, being more productive. It's a good thing, it's a good thing. But when it's like unbelievable, when it goes a bit over the level, notice the change. Because as you have depression, you also have the exact opposite of it, that is mania. So people get extremely productive, or I would say not even productive but extremely active when they're going through mania. So keep an eye of these signs as well. If they are not coming into social gatherings, if you call a friend, she's or he is just saying, oh, I don't want to visit. I can't come today, wherein you know that there is nothing urgent why they're saying no. They're skipping all kind of family parties. They're just withdrawing. They're isolating themselves. They are being more angry. They're they're indulging into activities that are very risky, like going out at night, and they're just not being their normal self. It could be anything under the sky. But the moment you notice a persistent change in an individual, that's when you need to have that kind of warning that, okay, there's something wrong here. And what do you do then? So, before I say what do you do then, let me talk about something that we call as suicidal ideations. So, anybody here, could you all tell me what do you understand or think about suicidal ideation is? You could just unmute yourself and say, what do you think is, one is suicide, and there is another thing that you call as ideations or suicidal ideations. Am I going too fast on the chat box? Okay. Okay. Okay, fine. So did you all understand what did I say until now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, no problem. Okay, fine. So I'll just slow down. So I have a question for you all. Okay. So now let's make it a bit interactive. So can you all tell me, um, what do you understand when I say the word suicide or suicidal ideations? Anybody? What is the first thing that comes to your mind when I say the word suicide?
Self-death.
Self-death. Okay.
Thinking about or considering taking one's own life.
Thinking about taking one's own life. Any other words that come to your mind? Okay, no problem. So one, when you say suicide, there are two main, I would say, parts of it. One is the actual act of committing suicide. That means
Right?
you
That
act,
means you act.
sorry. Okay. So that act is like you actually go and kill yourself. Somebody actually goes and kills themselves and is successful, but and or can be unsuccessful in their attempt. There is one thing, before you actually attempt suicide, there is something which is known as suicidal ideations, which I wouldn't say all, but most of all of us go through at some point or the other. And it's very important, or maybe us or people around us, and it's very important to validate that feelings. Sometimes maybe you are just feeling like, my life is not worth living. I don't want to live anymore. um, Maybe you're standing on a platform and you see those train, what do you call the train, where the train goes, the train tracks, and you just feel like, what if I just jump? You know, you just wake up with a feeling of, I don't like my life anymore. I don't feel like living anymore. Do you think these kind of thoughts are valid, or they're normal, or they count as suicide? I asked you all a question. Anybody here with me? I really want you all to answer, my dear friends. Yes. Yes, please. So, it is a genuine request, because, once when you all answer to me, I will understand how much you're understanding. If not, I'm here for a purpose to deliver something, and I want to make sure that it reaches you all. And please unmute yourself and speak. Yes, that's the best thing I could say. Yes, thank you to so please, do you all think that these kind of thoughts, as I said, that when you feel that I don't feel like I want to live anymore, I don't, I don't like my life. It's better if I would just die, and maybe death is more peaceful, or maybe you're just standing somewhere and you just feel like, what if I just run in front of this truck? Let me just kill, let me just end this pain. Maybe if you have debt, you have some family problems. And have you ever felt something like this? Or anybody, you don't need to disclose it, but do you know that these are very common thoughts of you, me, and all of us feel at some point in our lives, that I don't think this world is worthy. I don't feel like living anymore. So when you have these kind of thoughts, all of these thoughts are extremely valid, and these thoughts are known as suicidal ideations. Yes. So when I say suicidal ideation, that doesn't mean that it's actually you going and attempting, or I wouldn't say you, but somebody going and attempting suicide, but they're actually thinking about death. They're thinking about ending their lives. They're thinking about not living anymore, not surviving anymore. When you wake up in the morning and you have no energy to live. One is no energy to go through a day. That is a different thing. When I say, when you wake up and you feel like, I don't want to be alive, I don't want to live this life. So these kind of thoughts are extremely valid. And even if you hear anybody around you saying something, could be your child, could be your friend, could be your sibling, could be your spouse, could be anybody, please, please, please get alarmed. These thoughts are not extremely normal, and they're not something that you just go across saying that, oh, it doesn't matter. It does. It is a valid form of suicidal ideations. Now, all of these thoughts that you have, before somebody actually commits suicide, they spend some time planning about it. Nobody just wakes up in the morning and just goes and dies. So this, they have these kind of recurrent suicidal ideation thoughts again and again and again and again and again. Sometimes they are passive, like, I don't want to live, I want to die, I don't want to do anything to do with this world. And sometimes there could be active ideations wherein you think that, oh, you see a fan here, and I think I could just hang myself. Or if you're on the top of, like, maybe 20 story, you're in the balcony, and the person just looks down and feels like, should I just jump and finish all of this pain? So it could be an active thought, or it could be a passive thought. But suicidal ideations develop before somebody actually committing or maybe attempting suicide. So it's very, very important to have a very keen and alert eye around you, and also on yourself if you feel something like that. Because validate this. This is a valid form, and you need to seek action and help regarding it. You just can't just leave it like, okay, it's just normal. It's not normal. Yes, sometimes thinking that life is a waste, it's not worthy living. So all of these forms are suicidal ideations. So here, the same thing as I said, that what is a suicidal ideations? It's like having a thought or about, or maybe planning suicide, planning to kill yourself. It could be like, you just have like wanting to die, or having a detailed plan that this is how I'm going to commit suicide, this is how I feel like I should end my pain. And this is a very big red flag. If you or anybody around you is feeling this, please be alert. And what could be the trigger to feel something like this? See, all of us in our lives go through a lot of problems. Okay, none of our lives are like rosy dozy. We have like family problems, personal problems, financial problems, marital problems, post marital problems, illnesses, a lot of other things. And we go through different forms of like, mental health things. Sometimes you might feel good, sometimes you might feel bad. That's okay. That's human. Sometimes you're feeling sad, sometimes you're feeling happy. That's fine. Like, that's the part of being a human. But the moment you feel that the sadness and the void and that kind of emptiness or the negative thoughts that you have is just persistence, it's not ending. Today I'm feeling low, tomorrow I'm feeling low, day after, it's a week. I'm struggling to get that energy. It's not happening. Today I feel like I don't feel like living in this world anymore. Tomorrow I'm okay. Okay, I meet my friends, I'm fine. And then the life goes on. But if I am going out with my friends, I'm going out to meet my family, I'm going to work, I'm doing everything, but this thought just lingers in my mind that I don't want to live. I don't want to live, man. It's not worth it. That's important. That's a red sign, and this is something that you need to identify even in yourself, not just of others. So what do you do when such signs happen? And you do four things if you see people around you are going through this, is that you listen to them with empathy. Now when I say less, that you just need to do less. So I've made some kind of abbreviations, which is like what do you could say, like SOS things. So if you see any kind of warning signs around you, within you, or especially around you, there are two things. There are very, the least amount of things you need to do is less. Listen. When I say listen, you need to listen with empathy. It's not always important that you start giving lectures to people that um it's not right to feel like that. Go out, do this, do that. You join some class, watch something, you become more religious, do this. Don't don't give advices and lectures. Just listen. Just listen. Give them a ear. Secondly, don't judge. This is the most important thing for us as South Asians. Don't judge, because sometimes when somebody is like really really low, they might they might tell you their deepest darkest secret. They might tell you something that they're regretting, something that they have done and they don't like what they have done, and they might just open up to you. Don't judge, please. Even if you feel like judging them from on the top of your lungs, control it. Empathize. Now, empathize is like being into their shoes, because if today they committed that mistake, tomorrow you can do it as well because you're a human. So, empathize with them. Don't judge. Just listen. Just open your ears. Don't open your mouth. Just listen. If you feel that what this person is going through is really serious because it's affecting them, encourage them to seek some kind of professional help, any kind of medical help, psychological help. Thirdly, don't leave them alone. If you know that, okay, this person is not in the right frame of mind, don't leave them alone. If it's your friend, be there with them. If it's somebody you could bring to your place, or maybe arrange somebody to be with them, make sure, this is the least you could do, make sure that they're not alone and they're not isolated, and take it seriously. Don't just feel like, oh, she's just doing, we in South Asia, this is very common that we would be like, oh, she's just doing for attention, this is just her nature. She talks about suicide, but I don't think she's going to kill herself or he's going to actually do it. And don't even shame them with their pain that, oh, you're weak. People who commit suicide are not strong enough, or they can't do this. You have to fight, and please don't say anything. Try to resolve and not be the judgment maker there, or what do I say? Try to do things by yourself that you can just, you are perfect and they are not. And there are other things that you could see. You're already reading the science here, is that if you feel somebody is actually giving away things and having, detachment from world is one thing, but actually, like, when you move out, you give things away from your house, you're packing, you might just declutter and everything. But if you feel somebody is actively doing things and totally detaching things, and they're not moving out, they're not doing anything, but they're just giving away all of their important things, they're just very silent, not available, not doing anything. Just keep a very big, what do I say, alert eye, open your eyes and ears to all of these signs. Let's go next. Now, there's a very important phenomenon with that has immersed in today's generation, and we were discussing about this in one of my lectures the other day. Is like, you have the boomers or the generation X, like people who were born in the 1970s and 80s, or maybe before that, usually 70s and 80s. They are the boomers and the Gen X, and they were raised with a very different mentality and a mindset, because the society back then was more physical than mental. So the work was more physical as well, because people used to go out in the morning, work hard, like do laborious jobs, like, labors. That was the main form of job people had, and they were extremely tired physically, and then they slept. So for them, they didn't understand, or maybe mental health struggles at that time were not there as much as it is today, because there is a shift of work from physical labor. We have moved to mental labor. And these people were always, brought down, like, if physically you're weak, or if mentally you feel sad, like especially men or women, if you're strong, you're not supposed to cry, you're not supposed to do. And these kind of incidents also starts, or maybe it started mainly from families, wherein they would hit a child, right, left, center, and then scream at the child that don't cry. If one tear comes out, you're going to get one more. This is very common in our culture, right? So the children who have grown with this mentality, they have their own set of mental health issues. But for them, mental health is seen as a personal failure, as a weakness. And they don't even acknowledge anything, as they don't see that, getting depressed even is an option. They feel that if you're depressed, that means you're not strong, you're not mentally strong, you don't trust in God, you don't believe, you're just weak, you're just a useless weak person, you're just finding excuses. So this was the older generation. Then comes the millennials and Gen Z. So, let's talk about Gen Z before, because Gen Z is more like, oh my God, you must have seen, the social media is filled with all the Gen Z influences. And Gen Z, they're very smart. They are trying to find out ways of earning very different from the traditional ways. They're not focusing more on academics or anything much. They're focusing on creative ways of earning money, creating ways of living, like, living a life in a van, traveling all your life, doing the things that they want to do. And the Gen Z are the ones who are really, really focused about their mental health more than anything else. They don't care about their parents, or they might, but generally they don't. The care, or the concern that they have for the society and people is less, but what they have for themselves is more. So they feel like, I am important, and my mental health is more important, my physical health is more important than anything else in this world. Whereas millennials are the people who were born in the 90s, and they're like kind of stuck in these two generations, wherein they're trying hard to fit into the Gen X, and go with the traditional ways, why the way they were brought into, as well as, because their parents were Gen X and their kids are Gen Z, so they are actually trying as a bridge. So all of these things, all of these generation gaps that we have seen has caused a lot of problems in people, especially maybe your parents or your elder siblings, or your kids, to understand the mental health. Because maybe a mother might see very clear symptoms of my child trying to commit suicide, but she's not taking it seriously. She's in fact, maybe the parent would just go and say like, why are you behaving so weak? This is not something like, this is not, I didn't give birth. Indian moms are known to say the most dramatic statements. I would say the South Asian community moms, they would feel like, oh, I didn't raise such a weak child, or I didn't give birth for you to feel so bad about your life. So this a very strong battle when it comes to mental health and creating that sensitivity. So, it's very important that if you have these kind of generational gaps around in your family or maybe in your circle, so, when you speak to the earlier generations, the older generations, it's important to sensitize them, and that mental health is not a sign of weakness. In fact, it is strength if somebody is talking about it. It's not easy to actually come out and talk to people that I am just feeling like that. And the earlier generation were more judgmental, and the lesser generation were are less judgmental, and they're more impatient. The earlier generation was patient. So, and when you speak into the younger generations, it's important to sensitize them that the older generations, they do not have that level of means and information or resources to understand what mental health is, to have some kind of sensitivity towards it. So you have to be patient. You don't have to back answer them. You have to talk about your needs, but also understand where they are coming from. And whereas for the older generation, it is important for them to becoming more receptive of change and understanding that, okay, the world has changed. We never had internet during our times, now we do. We have a virtual world. We have a physical world, but we have a bigger virtual world. Our kids are exposed to something that we were never exposed to, so they might have issues that we never had. So this is very important for both the generation to bridge this gap and generate a kind of sensitivity, sensitize mental health. This is very important, that as a family, if you're in a family, you have people of every generation sitting there. You could have your grandparents, you could have your parents, you have your child. So you have like the boomers, the Gen X, the Gen Z, and as well as the millennials there. So, the best thing I would say is that, have these gatherings wherein you normalize conversations on mental health. You normalize what mental health means, what it is to actually feel depressed, when you know mental health is as important as physical health. And I think one important thing that I usually said it I spoke about in my family is like, if somebody suffering from diabetes, or maybe thyroid or cancer or anything, even whatever generation you belong to, you are going to tell that person that, oh, let's go to the doctor. You need to take medications for your blood pressure. For example, blood pressure, it is something that needs to be cared for. If you don't care for it, it can have lethal consequences. But when you talk about depression, you'll be like, it's fine. Just pray a little more. Just go out for a walk. Just don't use your phone. Just sleep a bit more. Wake up early in the morning. Why is it that you'd never say that if somebody tells you that I am feeling depressed or I have depression? Why don't we say that, go seek help? Let's go to a psychiatrist. Let's meet a psychologist. Why don't we see that? So this is very important, that you need to emphasize on mental health this way, and also understand that any kind of mental health issues, including the attempt of suicide or suicidal thoughts, it is a health crisis. And I don't want to use anything as physical or mental, because it is a serious health crisis, just as blood pressure is. just as cancer is. So, you could say like the beginning of depression could be equivalent to blood pressure, which could be managed with medications and others. But if it doesn't happen, it could reach to a state of cancer, which is actually attempting suicide. So they're both of the same intensity and same effect that it has on your mind. It has an effect on your body. So let's openly discuss about it in families and friends, in gatherings, in societies, in cultures, wherever you go. Talk about it, generate sensitivity, about it. People are really, really very stringent and not sensitive towards mental health. We make fun and jokes of people who we feel are mentally a bit low. If you're in a group and if there's one person who's just feeling a bit low, there's a very, and this is very sad, that people might just come and corner him or her, tease him or her, be like, oh, you're so weak. Oh, you're feeling, oh, he's the most silent person, he's the most depressive person. So let's not make as we would not like to make jokes on cancer. So let's not make jokes on depression and other mental health issues as well. Everybody with me until now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Let's go next. So now let me ask you a question. If you see somebody who's going through something like that, what are you going to do towards them? How are you going to help them? Like if I come to know, I'm sitting here, if I come to know that, my friend is feeling suicidal, somebody told me, or maybe I realize, what am I supposed to do? Just sit in my house? What are you going to do? You're going to do nothing? Come up,
Talk.
talk. Okay. Everybody here, like, your friend is there. What are you going to do? Talk to them, call them. What is it? Listen to them, suggest them. Okay. And you're going to do this at a speed, or you're going to take some time to do it? Like once I'm free with all of my tasks, only then I will talk to them, or I will rush to do it? Rush. Yes. So that's what is the next thing. Oh, give hug. Oh, that's so lovely. That's so lovely. So, we go through like, what can you do? You race. What is race? You rush. So the first thing you do is you recognize any kind of change, which I've already discussed. Second is important is you ask. Now, this is something we all lack. We're feeling, I feel something is wrong with him. I feel he's changed, but you're just feeling, you're recognizing it, you're acknowledging it, but you're not doing anything. Very simple. Break the barrier. Ask, are you feeling low? Just ask them a question. Are you feeling depressed? Do you think your mental health is not in the right place? Are you not feeling fine emotionally? Do you want to talk? Just whatever, just begin a conversation. As somebody already mentioned, like, talk. So ask them direct questions. You don't know what level of crisis this person is going through. So just directly ask them. Thirdly, connect. Now you ask them, they have opened up about what I'm going through, what I'm not going through. This is what I'm feeling. I just feel hopeless. It's fine. Regularly connect with them to check in if they're feeling fine, or if they need somebody to talk to. Inform and encourage professional help. Now inform, if they're your family, take them to any mental health professionals. If not, then you could inform their family or people near to them that this person is suicidal, this person is not feeling right, he needs help. Call the helpline, do anything, you just race towards them. The things that you need to say is that you matter, your life is important, I am here for you. Very important to say that I may or may not fully understand your pain, but I want to. But what we generally say, and this is something that we are not supposed to say, that you know what, you're just overreacting. I don't feel that it is such this bad for you. Somebody, for example, who's gone through a breakup, and we would just be like, you're just crying over a breakup, or you're just crying over something like that. It's not worth it. you see people in the world, they're suffering so much. People in the world are not getting food to eat, and you're crying over an individual. You just feel nothing is wrong with you. Remember one thing, that only because somebody else out in the world is going through a pain that is, or maybe is going through a situation that is bigger, okay, they might be going through a bigger test, a bigger problem in their lives, that doesn't make my problem less. So all of your problems are valid, whether it is a breakup, whether it is a loss of your family member, whether it is a death of a pet, whether it is you being overweight and not having self image. It could be anything and everything under the sky. It's all valid. It doesn't mean only because something worse is happening to somebody else, if she is very important, very, I had seen this example in one of my sessions, wherein there were two friends and one of them lost the parent and the other one lost a cat. And people were, they both were really depressed. And then the one who lost the parent was like, you're just crying over a cat, like I lost my mom. But do you think that losing a mom is a bigger, I'm not saying that. You might, as a third person, you might feel like, okay, she lost her mom and she's just crying over a cat, but you never know that cat is just like a child to her. You never know what were her what do I say, attachments. So only because somebody has got through a pain that is bigger, that doesn't make mine or anybody else's smaller. So everybody goes through different levels of pain and incidents. So your feelings are completely valid. You may or may not understand anybody's feeling. Just listen to their problems. Don't, I've already repeated and I'm going to say it again, don't judge, don't advise, don't say anything, just listen. You might or might not understand their pain, it might or might not make sense to you, but help them. Take to them for therapy. If they want to go out, if they want to talk to you, do everything. Don't trivialize their pain as to, "Oh, you're just overreacting. I don't feel this is wor- worthy of that reaction that you're giving." So this is what you need to do. And if there is anybody here, if you are struggling through with any of these thoughts, so for you, I have something that would call as dare. So the first thing is, you have to develop a crisis plan for yourself. Is like, you work with a therapist to create a plan wherein you have these kind of thoughts. If you feel that, okay, something is happening wrong with me, it could be your suicide, it could be mental health. So till the time you have that awareness, believe me, half the job is done. So you dare to take a step, you develop a crisis plan, you avoid being alone, you avoid isolation, you be with people, you go out and meet people. If you know that I have these kind of negative thoughts, you're not supposed to be alone. Reach out to people who you think might help, could be your friend, family, teacher, counselor, anybody. Reach out to them, could also be a colleague. Get engaged and involved in activities that would distract your mind out of these kind of negative thoughts. Like, you travel somewhere, you start painting, drawing, cooking, whatever you would like to, but do this. And despite of doing this, if you feel that, oh, it's not helping, the thoughts are still coming, it's high time that you need to uh, consult a professional. And a small activity, y'all could just take a screenshot of this, or maybe I would even try to send it out to y'all. Is that, this is something that I want everybody to do when you wake up in the morning. And if ever you feel low, if ever you feel like, I'm not doing enough, or I don't feel like living, or this life just not feel like living. So uh, you stand in front of the mirror. Now this might sound very funny, I know, but try to do it. And let me know if it'll help. I'm Because it has helped a lot of people in the world, and I'm pretty sure it'll help you as well. And even if you're not feeling suicidal, even if you're feeling low, try to do this. That whatever you're feeling low about, if it is about your strength, it is about your beauty, it is about your finances, it is about your dependency, it could be about anything. You say very positive statements that you could read out on the screen here. It says, I'm enough, my presence makes a difference in the lives of others, no storm or no problem lasts forever, I'm strong enough, I can handle this, I have the power to ask for help, I am loved, I am valued, I am the best. I deserve the best, and I am worthy of all the love and respect in this world. I have a purpose that I can fulfill. So, all of these statements, you have to say it multiple times, could be 3 times, 5 times, 7 times. Look into the mirror, and these statements can change based on your situations. And every morning, just look into the mirror when you're brushing your teeth and you wash your face and you look into your mirror and say, okay, you're fantastic, or maybe I'm fantastic. I love myself and I want to do this for myself. And this is something I would say that if you're struggling even a little bit with your self image, any kind of mental health, just do it. It's going to help you. You will not even realize. Do it for 1 month, and I'm pretty sure you all will come back to me and say that, oh, this really, really worked. So try doing this. It's really, really helpful. Suggest it to people that you know and your friends and family as well, and have a very small activity. So you can do this kind of activity with your friends and family around you, or maybe if you all as a group, but I feel you're like scattered around the world. So try doing this with your kids, especially if they are teenagers, or your group of friends, any group. So take a big board, make a tree, and let everybody put in very good self-affirming words like you're beautiful, you're loved, you're not alone, you're valued, you matter the most, you're amazing, you're everything which is like self-affirming. And everybody takes sticky notes and put that tree. So and that tree, you could also do it as an activity of your family, that you have this small tree and everybody's talking about, we make something as this is about your self-affirmation. You can have something about gratitude, and everybody writes on a sticky note and sticks it, a colorful big tree, and put it in the middle of your house. Anytime any of the family member feels low, they can go around this tree and read everything on it, and it is really, really going to remind and make you all feel better. So also I mentioned initially about the generational differences. So this is one way to fight that, especially in the family, or if you're in a workplace or anywhere. So this is one of the best activity, so you understand everybody's mentality, and it also gives a lot of strength and what do I say, positive message to anybody and everybody who reads it. And this is something that y'all can very quickly take a screenshot of. These are all the helpline crisis numbers in India as well as in UK, and they're also available in US and others. So if y'all don't know, you could also, this information is easily available online. Y'all can also try to find it. So anytime you're trying to help yourself or others, this is the help. I'm pretty sure everybody's taken a screenshot of it. And we go next is, yes, I would like to close on a very important note that no matter what you're going through, your life has a meaning, your life has a purpose. Everyone here has a purpose, and you need to find your purpose. And none of you are alone in your struggles. So, all of your struggles, all of your pain, everything is valid, and you have all the right to feel it. You have all the right to all the best happiness in this world, and never feel that you're alone. Never ever feel that you're alone. If you're going through a worst phase, try reaching out to people. Believe me, there would be more hands to help you than you could actually imagine. There would be a lot of people who would be willing and coming to help you in different ways. So, and lastly, a call to action, that if you have a friend today and if you feel that they're struggling, or you haven't spoken to them for some time, reach out to them, call up. This is your activity for today after this session. It's too late in India, but anytime, you could do it tomorrow morning. Just text them, reach out, call and check if they're fine. And, you never know that the conversation that you're having today can actually change that person's life. And in fact, I think if it's late night, do right now, because people feel the most lowest at night. So because it's the most lonely phase to be. And lastly, remember, you matter. Your presence in this world brings light and hope, not just to the world, but to your family, to your friends. You mean a lot. People really value your presence more than you can acknowledge. And I would just like to say that anything that I've said, and if you have got it, please make sure that you take this ahead to your friends and follow it further. And yes, so that's how. Thank you so much. Any kind of question answers that you have, please let me through. Yes, that's it. Thank you. Yeah, somebody is saying something.
If anyone have question, please feel free to share your feedback and ask any questions. Anyone have questions? Or can anyone share the feedback?
Yeah. So, if you have any questions, tell me your questions. And there's one thing I would say that just for me to know, because you all have been a very quiet audience. So, I want everybody, I don't know how many people we have here. I think we have around 10 or 12. So, I want everybody to share one thing that they have taken from today. Like, and it could be anything. You know, what is it that you have taken from this session today? That I think we've spoken for an hour or a little more than an hour. So, yeah, I want to know that what did you take? What's the takeaway you're taking home? Anything, it could be one line. I want everybody to just switch on the mics, and before I start calling names, I feel that everybody please switch on your mics. I think, oh, we have 17 people here. So everybody, Indu, Megha, Fatima, Mumtaz, Rehana, Reshma, Sajna, Shaju, Shibli, everybody, just unmute your mic and tell me one statement or anything, one thing that you've understood and taken from this session. Oh my God. Okay, fine, no problem. Nobody understood nothing.
I think it's always better to know like how we can help them. Like you shared about race and tear. I think
Yes.
it was very helpful for me. So I
Okay.
can help if anyone is feeling low or something, so I can help them. I think it was really helpful.
Okay, thank you. That's great. Okay. Anybody else? What have you learned? One thing that you felt that okay, this hit my mind or not?
Hello.
Yeah, yeah.
The one of the thing that strike me throughout this session is that rather than taking a major rush when my friend is down, it is to talk to them, console them, and be a good listener to them before taking any like a spontaneous action. That is one of the major thing that strike me throughout this session.
Okay, that's really nice. Somebody else put in a comment saying, I'm glad to join this class. I was late by 20 minutes, but the knowledge was very useful. Okay, okay.
Hi, ma'am. My name is Shibli. Its
Hi.
webinar is very informative. And last year, I faced in a postpartum depression. And I'm always doing ma'am, the activity that like that the tree activity.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's so nice. And thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay,
Your
do it.
presentation's way is very amazing, and thank you so much.
You're welcome. I hope, Sister Shibli, that you're feeling fine now. And this is one more thing that, postpartum depression is more common than we think. In the earlier generation, people didn't give any importance to it, but it is real, and it's very strong of you to come out on a platform and speak that you were going through it. I hope you're feeling better now. If not, please feel to reach out to me or anybody who you think can help. And I hope all the wellness and happiness for you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I am okay.
Okay,
It's much better.
okay, that's so good. Perfect.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay. Anybody else would like to ask any question? Anybody here, any questions that you have? Otherwise, we can just close maybe in a minute or two. Or anybody wants to share anything? Just a minute or 2 minutes quickly.
Thank you for the session, ma'am. Everything that you have shared is valuable. The one thing that struck me was that everyone's feelings are valuable. Like you have told that one of the pet was died and mother the same situation. But normally we will normalize that. Every time we are normalizing that, we will tell that, oh, that is a big feeling and this is not much that like that. So it struck me a lot. And thank you for the session, ma'am.
You're welcome. There's a very important point that you mentioned that all pain and all the sufferings are valid. Everything that anybody is going through is valid. Okay. This is really nice. Okay. I'm happy to listen to you all. I was like, oh my God, maybe you all didn't understand. Okay, thank you. That makes, when somebody, like, when somebody, I make an effort, or maybe any speaker, you make an effort to do something. The most important thing is, people understand and they learn something from it, and that's what, even if one person here understands, I think that it's worth for me to do that. And yeah, thank you so much to everybody here. I hope nobody has anything to share. And okay, bye bye. Take care, everybody.
So thank you all for joining us today for this important discussion on suicide prevention. Actually, in this session, we covered essential topics, including the importance of prevention, developing empathy, recognizing the signs of suicidal ideation, and understanding what we can do, or what to say and what not to say. That was really important. And we also discussed generational sensitivity and practical approaches, such as raise and tear, to provide the support. And a special and huge thanks to our speaker, Ms. Erem Nasir, for sharing her expertise and insights. Your contribution is really invaluable. And I encourage everyone to share their feedback in our group, as it helps us to improve and continue this wider conversation. And thank you again. Thank you so much, and good night.